Welcome everyone to a special episode of the Canadian Talkin Shop Podcast. I am your host, Stu Francis, and normally I would be greeting you on a much warmer welcome to the show, and I would be introducing you to my co-host and good friend, Mike Berikoff, but unfortunately, that's just not the case today. Many of you know that listen to the show quite often that I was blessed and lucky enough to adopt a new dog named Loki. And you may have even seen him on a couple of the clips. And unfortunately, Loki suffered from very serious seizure issues, known as cluster seizures. And he passed away on on Tuesday of last week, and I'm recording this now. Sorry, I'm just going to get the dates here. The 10th. Yeah, you would think I would remember that off the hop, but honestly, I'm just really trying really hard to be on Earth, and my body's here on Earth, but my mind is not always here on Earth. After the 10th, not a lot made sense to me. It didn't seem fair. As many of you know, and any of you new listeners that are tuning in, I had to send my dog of 12 years, Cooper, across the Rainbow Bridge and have him earn his wings after a hard-fought battle with lymphoma. And that was earth-shattering, and it was crushing. And I took, like, I just started the show before, a couple weeks before his passing, and I took a very long hiatus because it really, really affected me very deeply and still does. And what happened with Loki, I had him for 30 days. 30 days. And there's no one to blame for it. There's no one to be upset about or mad at. I certainly don't fault the rescue that I work with. And I definitely don't have any sour feelings towards them whatsoever. And I know a lot of people have said, made their comments and whatnot, but the fact of the matter is that, especially in the rescue business, you're not always getting 100% of the information that you need. The shelter that took Loki in, owners surrender their dogs every day. And they make up a lot of reasons as to why they were surrendering the dogs. Most of the time, it's bullshit. And they said that Loki was having upwards of 5 to 9 seizures a day, and they just couldn't afford to take care of them. So you can take that information and do what you want with it, but until you see things in action, there's nothing you can do. And I think it was just too little too late by the time he even got to the rescue. Being very honest, if you know anything about cluster seizures or what they can do to you, because cluster seizures are one after another. They can happen sporadically over the course of a day. The definition is more than 3 or more than 2. I forget, I'm paraphrasing, but the definition is more than a couple a day in a 24-hour period. And they were suggesting that Loki was having anywhere from 5 to 9. It's a lot. And depending on the time and of those seizures and how long they were lasting, a lot of neurological damage can take place. And a lot of pain can be felt internally. And unfortunately, being a dog, and especially Loki, because Loki, I will make no bones about this, was the most beautiful, loving, gentle, wanting to please dog you would ever meet. And I know everybody says that about their dogs. And, I hope they're right, because dogs are so much better than us. So they probably are right. They probably have a case to make them the champion of best doggy in the world. And Loki was definitely that through all of that. But you could tell something was different with him. And you can tell that he just wasn't all the way 100%. You could tell that even just from the way he walked. And he went, so to go back in time, he was surrendered to a shelter in May. And he found himself a foster home that was willing to take him in. And then the seizures started. And I guess they were about 3 to 5 seizures in a day. And they started medicating him. So the rescue thought, you know what, he's being medicated and we're getting the information that we're getting, and he's a good boy and he's a beautiful boy and he deserved a good home. And the rescue just wanted to do right by Loki off the information that they got. I don't blame them in that case. They wanted to do what was right for that animal. And unfortunately, the vetting process, there's no time to go into deep detail on the vetting process. And there's just so many dogs being surrendered nowadays, especially with COVID. There's so many asshole owners that thought, oh, we're in lockdown, we're bored, let's get a dog. And then life resumes. Oh, lifestyle change, can't have the dog, surrender the dog with no care in the world. And if you know me, like know me at all, I value dogs way more than I value humans. I love dogs and I want to spend the rest of my life doing whatever I can for dogs amongst my means. And in future episodes, I'm working with the rescue, and I'm going to be doing some profiles on some dogs for adoption. And I've now volunteered to help transport animals when I can, to give them to their new homes and whatnot. And I'll continue my fight as much as I can. And hopefully one day I'll have financial means to do even more. But the moral of the story is that when I heard that there was a dog in need, like Loki, I wanted to help. I wasn't quite in the arena mentally to help, really, because of everything with Cooper, but it didn't matter. I saw his picture and it's like, fuck, send him here. I will give him a home. And that was the purpose. That was the universe's purpose, was to put us together so I could give him that home. And I did. And I loved that dog. And it wasn't easy at first. The first day or two was very much like, I miss my Cooper, and this is odd to have another animal in my home. But he loved me so much. He accepted me as his pack master immediately. And I hate using that term because I wasn't his master, I wasn't his owner, I was his caregiver. I was his doggy parent. And he followed me everywhere. Everywhere. And I nicknamed him Shadow because it's like I couldn't even go to the bathroom. I couldn't even as much as go and take a leak without him crying outside the door because he just needed to be near me. So like it doesn't matter. It didn't even matter if my dad was around. It didn't matter if like work colleagues were around, whatever. Because fun fact, I got to take him with me to work every day. He needed to be by me. I was his and he was mine. And as cruel and as tragic as it is to lose him at the age of 2, what can I say? The universe put us together, and it was what was meant to be. And his seizures were just getting too bad. Like he had at least well over 15 with me. And maybe I'd have to go back and look, but I think 3 or 4 different instances. Okay. So imagine that. And he was just in pain. You could tell. You could tell that there was a lot of neurological damage. And unfortunately, he did lunge and try to attack me on a Saturday randomly. And he wasn't fixed either because you couldn't put him under to do the surgery with the issues that he had. And cluster seizures are very hard to get into remission for, very hard. And it takes a toll. And it just wasn't fair to him anymore. And at least this way, I was able to be with him to end his pain. And if you've never experienced anything like that, there's no words I can say to describe it to you for you to understand. Having to do it with Cooper was rough because even though he did live a long life and whatnot, it was not on the date that was chosen. It was much before that, and it was very traumatic. Not only that, he was my son. He was my first son. He was my baby. He was my world. He was my everything. And that's immediate family, man. When you lose immediate family, and people that don't love animals will never understand. But that bonding connection that you have with a dog or an animal is unlike any other connection you could ever have. No human can match it. You can fall in love with whatever, but that unmatched loyalty and love and respect and kindness and just so that was very hard to do for Cooper, but this was not to compare the two, this was harder because I felt robbed and I felt like I just did this. I just did this. And here I was taking a leap of faith sooner than I was hoping for and have an incredible journey with this beautiful dog. And for it to end so suddenly, but life's not fair. Life's not always going to be fair. And the universe, like I said ad nauseum at this point, had its plan. And it always does, for better or for worse. And now he's able to come home with me as I had him cremated after, and I picked out the exact same urn that his brother Cooper has. And I take a great deal of pride knowing that, Loki has his brother now to guide him and to show him the way. And to be there waiting for me when my time comes. Sorry, I promised myself I wouldn't cry on this one. Not that it's wrong to hide emotion, I've cried so much. But his pain is gone now. And like I said, he's in good hands. He's being taken care of with a fellow lab. Cooper was a lab too. He was a boxer lab. So the difference between when Cooper died and taking the hiatus compared to Loki, I learned through the loss of my first real close family member that you can take as much time as you need to grieve, and you will always grieve. But there comes a certain time where you need to honor them and carry on as best you can. And I felt like with Cooper, I just took too, again, there's no measurement of time, but I feel personally it was just too long. And I didn't want to repeat that with Loki. I wanted to try the best I can to carry on because I have a great career. I have a budgeting podcast that's got decent momentum, you know, and I can't stop now. It was convenient before, because I was only 2 episodes in and I had no idea what it was even going to be about, and I was only an assistant manager at that point, but I'm the head boss now, and I have people that count on me, and I have a responsibility to myself and to my company and to my staff to try and carry on and continue as best as I can. And I have a responsibility to myself and my listeners to carry on the podcast as best I can. And with that being said, this week we wanted to at least give me a little bit of a break, and we're going to present you with the highlights episode. So episode 9 will be a highlights episode after you're done listening to me talk now. And Mike has been kind enough to package together some of the best highlights at a very short period of time. I know only 9 episodes, but hey, when you record upwards of 2 hours per episode, you're going to have some good catches. So I bring to you our first ever highlights episode. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy. Catch us next week for episode 10, where we are doing our Q&A, and we've gotten some great questions brought into us and submitted to us, and you know, we encourage you to do that. If you're listening to this now, please send us in questions, send it by DM, send it any which way you want. But with no further ado, episode 9, our highlights video.
Yeah, it's been a little while, almost a month and a half, maybe. I'm horrible with time and weather, if anyone listened to the last episode.
Oh, no, dude. No. It's been longer, because the last episode was at near like mid-March. I want to say about mid-March, and we're now, this is our Canada Day special, so we're recording this on June 27th, but yeah, it's been a few months, dude. That's how fast fucking time flies.
I'm just sleeping on this end of BC.
Well, when you're living in fucking paradise, and I know maybe where you are specifically is not in your eyes paradise, but as someone that has frequented, I can't even fucking say that word. Someone that's gone to BC a lot. To me, it's paradise. It's just one of those beautiful places I've ever seen before in my life. And I've been to Ireland and I've been all over the US, but BC is just a beautiful place. So I can understand why you're sleepy, and you got the best weed.
Yeah, most definitely. And we're in the middle of a heat wave right now. As we're recording this, it's, let's see here. Again, I'm horrible with dates. Like I said, it's June 27th. And it's looking to be about 37, the high point today. So,
and that's without humidity.
That's a heat wave for us. Oh, I don't know about humidity. Holy man, you hit me with all all the hard questions. I got my like my temperatures here. I got my date here, but I don't have humidity. You can't do that to me.
I don't even remember the conversation about weather last time. Clearly you do, because clearly
I think you just asked me like what day it was, or if it was like raining outside and I didn't know. I just felt like such a dumbass.
It's too fucking much. Show your cup too, by the way. What the fuck are you drinking out of? Oh wow. So our audio listeners, it's a picture of Minnie Mouse that just literally rolled out of bed. And
or she had a wake and bake.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, who am I to judge?
And then it says mornings aren't pretty.
Well, you got that fucking right. That's for sure. Mornings are definitely not pretty, but man, that's funny. So I imagine some people will pop over your mug there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm a little giggly today. I had some good stuff, so.
And you wanted to know my stance. I don't see that there's any right way or wrong way. I don't personally care. I stand sometimes. I sit sometimes.
It's on, man. I'm a fucking sitter.
Like a full time, like you're dedicated to this one method.
Well, yeah. Like, why would you switch it up? Like, you wouldn't switch it up. You wouldn't like just all of a sudden start sitting down.
Well, it depends on the situation. It depends on, yeah, it depends on, like, if it's a real fucking runny bastard, like standing up's probably not the best idea, because it's just
So you're unique. You'll do both.
yeah, it's a feel for the situation. Like, if I know it's not going to be all that much effort, then yeah, I'll stand. Especially because I'm pretty tall. I'm not as tall as you. For the listeners that don't know,
I'm
you're
not
like,
that
what's, yeah, buddy, you're like 6'6" or 6'7" or some shit.
Something like 5'8".
Shut your filthy fucking whore mouth, you lying bastard. I'm 6'1", so, but being like, I have degenerative disc disease, so sometimes sitting on the toilet, if it's like even past 5 minutes, my body hurts and I've got to stand. Like, it's to the point where it's like I have no option at that point. But if I know there was some heavy mud situation happening down there, I'll stick it out just a little bit longer and at least get the first couple done.
Yeah, like.
But here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you just use toilet paper, or do you use like a flushable wipe or anything after that? What team are you on with that?
Okay, so perfect world, I want a bidet. I want my bidet back. Yeah, that's what I want, because
Okay,
toilet paper is just nasty altogether.
True.
And like, in my perfect world, there's none of that shit anyways. But yeah, I go bidet. People are like, it's such a foreign thing to them, right? It's like, oh, water's put off the fucking toilet. It's like, your ass is clean. Your fucking ass is clean.
So what do you do now? What do you do in today's
it's just fucking toilet paper. Just toilet paper.
See,
just
that's where
the toilet paper.
No, I can't. And it started off with toilet paper and then baby wipes after, because like there's just a certain level of cleanliness that comes with that. And then I discovered the flushable wipe, which actually smells even better, and you don't have to worry about flushing it down the toilet, and you're just clean as a whistle down there, man. Because yeah, sometimes it just it gets to be a bit much, and toilet paper you think catches it all, it doesn't sometimes catch it all. So just to take that extra little bit of love and care.
And then if you Google the waffle stomp, I mean, that one's just the best altogether. So
I don't think I want to know what the waffle stomp is.
In theory, you would be the cleanest after the waffle stomp. So
in theory, okay. Well, then what's the waffle stomp?
Oh, you want to know? Okay, so you want a description. So you take a shit in the shower, and you just have your shower, and you wipe your ass or whatever, and you just stomp it down the drain. Stomp your shit and whatever down the drain. You asked. You've been informed.
I did. I asked. I
the more you know.
Insert the rainbow gif here. My God.
What was the first jersey number retired by the Canadians?
By the Canadians.
That's what I was wondering. I even messaged. See, here's the inside. I messaged privately because I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Canadians, 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 Canadians?
I just call them Canadians. Like
just Canadian.
Yeah, like if you can go Canadien if you really want to make it Quebecois, but I don't say the Montreal Canadien. Is Brad? What's going on, Brad?
Berikoff. That's even better. I guess it would have to be Brad Berikoff, but yeah. I hear have that though. One of the fans thought it was a Brad.
Yeah, one of the fans did think that you were a Brad, and because you have a Brad so close in relation to you, we had to switch up your last name a little bit as well. Otherwise, copyright infringement, right?
Yeah, he actually used to be a basketball player. I don't know if he still does because we're not in much contact, but he did. He did play in UBC a while
a long time ago. He was a basketball player. I'm kind of a short person, and I looked up to him because he's really tall, unlike myself, and and he actually played a lot of basketball, which was really cool.
So he's taller than you?
Oh, most definitely.
Most definitely. Okay, so through all your bullshit, you're like 6'7". So how fucking tall is this guy? 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet?
I don't know if you're talking in a different in a different metric, but he's about 6'10" from what I remember.
A different metric? What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, because that's not how tall I am.
You're around 6. You're 6'6", 6'7", are you not?
Not in feet. No.
Oh, okay. So okay. So you're just being dumb. Excellent. This is a great start. Great start. So you want to keep the mystery alive then, because people hear your voice and they go, mountain man. This guy's a mountain man. Everyone always asks me, how tall is Mike? It's like the ongoing thing all the time.
Okay. Mountain Brad.
Mountain Brad, yeah.
Mountain Brad.
So you're now Mountain Brad. So you want to keep the mystique alive. I see. Okay, Kyle. Settle down there with Mountain Dew and monster drinks.
And then when I have Entyvio, which is the medication I take for Crohn's that they give me, it can like fuck with your bones and shit, right? So like my hand's been all weird, like almost like arthritic, like I'm almost 50. So yeah.
Which could be possible too. Who am I to say? I've never seen your birth certificate.
My bones hurt a lot because of my height, because of how short I am. So it's like a compactness. It's not exactly a dwarfism. It's more of a compactness.
Well, because Mike is tall, but Brad is short. Was that the angle that you were going off here, Bradley? Yeah, cough into the mic, you fucking prick. Nice. Myself and all the listeners, thank you for that, by the way. Don't you even think you're going to edit that out either?
Fuck, this fucking Bradley thing. It was funny at first, everybody, but now it's... Yeah. I'm not that tall. I'm not. I have a bone compactness.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Me as a person, me as a human being, I self-identify as a short person. So when there's height regulations, I can get on the rides.
Well, you know, Mike, maybe your back and your sciatica wouldn't hurt so much if you weren't being so lazy and plagiarizing other people's work on your Cutlet House page. So there you have it, folks. If you want to see some plagiarized work and you want to see a lazy fuck do his thing, go to Cutlet House on Facebook. I don't know what Waffle Stomp is. You'll have to elaborate on that one. But first,
probably a PG-13 Google.
It's a PG-13 Google? Okay, so it's not 2 girls, 1 cup type of Google?
Nah.
Okay, well, we'll get into that in a minute. Let's get your thoughts first and foremost on the VD vases, and I'll tell you, the listeners, exactly why we're even talking about this.
First off, I can't even, like, when I seen the picture, it's like a fucking child made this. It's a grown adult that made this. And what are you thinking about the whole time you're making this? Putting all these little dots on the fucking thing like it's a herpy, or I don't know what the fucking shit was on it, but it doesn't look horrifying. There isn't a shock factor. Like, if it had some kind of like shock factor to it for me, I'd be like, oh, I get it, you know what I mean? But I don't. If there's a lot of value behind it, and I can put it on the screen.
Yeah, throw it up on the screen. Show some of our viewers on YouTube. All you audio listeners, head over to the YouTube channel. You'll get a lot more visuals here. But there it is. There's the VD vase. So to give some context behind this and the stoner tie-in here, is that I was going through Instagram because I'm really enjoying that platform right now, especially for promoting the podcast. CTS_pod on Instagram. Come check us out. Anyhow, I see Seth Rogen and he keeps posting these different vases that he's making, and it looks, the people are just lapping it up. They're in the comments going, "Oh my God, that's the coolest thing. It's the most innovative thing I've ever seen." And I'm looking at it going, that looks like a diseased dick to me. So I took it to the CTS family on Instagram and I asked them in the stories, what do you guys think? Is this really cool or does it look like a diseased dick? And honestly, it was the most participation I've gotten yet on the voting. And it was unanimous, 100% diseased dick. This thing looks like it's got VD. I don't get it, but because Seth Rogen's doing it, apparently this is cool art.
Yeah, and he's got a few. I think he's got five or six of them.
Yeah, he's on a kick, and it makes me wonder, just like you said, like, what's the inspiration behind this? Like, does he look down one day and go, you know, make a nice vase? You know what I mean? Like, what are we dealing with here? Like, did you take some strong acid and this came to you as a vision? I don't know. I just don't get it.
That'd be quite the vision experience.
Well, clearly he's gone through some sort of vision experience because it's just, I don't know. It's really, really weird. So tell us in the comments, what do you guys think it is for those who haven't put their 2 cents in?
Hey, you wanna know what's so funny? That nigga said, I ain't fucking with no black girls. They ain't gonna let me do this shit. I get a black girl, she ain't gonna fuck with me. So nah, I'm gonna go ahead and fuck my mama. Dude, crazy, man. Hey, crazy, man. Hey, crazy.
Fuck yeah.
Oh my God.
Dude, crazy. He
I'm
said,
just
yeah.
go here and fuck my mama.
He said, yeah, Keisha ain't fucking with me. Sarah's not fucking with me. So, Mom, she don't even know what's going on. She done forgot. He said, give me $20 so I can buy more fucking stuff. She gave him $20. She done forgot. Oh, man, he fucked up. Hey, he a sick motherfucker. He nasty, man. He crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The more we know.
Ooh, the more we know. Wow.
That
was
Whoa, that's crazy.
I can't. That is crazy.
I
So
feel like I'm forgetting some shit he did. Like
I want to forget some of the shit that he
Like,
did.
I almost made it a 2-parter. There's so much, and there is stuff he does. I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking hilarious because people have convinced him to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
bruh, all this shit hilarious. Yes, it's disgusting and gross in all many ways. But this shit funny, bruh. Like, if you look at it from hindsight, like, it's a nigga who can't get no pussy, so he down there scared of pussy. But he wants some pussy that never been touched before. So that's some real regular nigga shit, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants some pussy that ain't never been touched before, but it got to be older pussy. So he made it 18 to 22, which was a grown woman now, you know what I'm saying? Which 22 and up is grown to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Dude, crazy, man. So, like, he had me at the beginning. Then he said, nah, I can't fuck with no black girls because they gonna cuss me out. They got cousins and brothers gonna pull up. They don't like when I shit and slap myself. But Sarah kind of likes it. Sarah thinks it's cool. And when I do this on the camera, my fucking trolls tell me to do anything. I fucking do it. My mom doesn't remember. I do it right in front of her. She forgets. Dude, she remembered one time he slapped her ass. She said, why was you doing that shit earlier? He said, what? Fire! She said, nothing, I forgot. He said, no what? Come here, bend over. That's all I just heard. That's this whole story. This nigga crazy, man. This nigga weird. He said,
I couldn't sum that up any better.
Hey, the police said, this nigga don't want pussy so bad. We gonna put him in the motherfucking girl jail. The nigga, such a virgin. Everybody in here been touched, Mr. Jen. 10. Shit. It sounds like Chris dinner to me.
I mean, it's a pretty cold open, but you were going on so much about how you are being worked so hard and you're doing so much that you have to pass off work to that fucking idiot Brad.
We could do another open if you want.
No. This opening's great. No, I can't leave out that bit. You started going on about how you're overworked and such, and we need the viewers to feel your sympathy.
That's sweet because Brad really enjoys what he's doing right now.
Oh yeah, and how's that? What does Brad enjoy?
It's a little excessive. Well, every time someone gives him praise, he kind of lets out a little scream of enjoyment. But
a girlish scream, right?
I don't know. It's so Neanderthal. Like I can't even describe it. But it's irritating. It's definitely irritating. So every time there's people online that want to praise him and shit, he just screams more and more and keeps me awake. I've been up since 3 a.m, hearing his screaming and rambling around. And
that's your own shit because there's not enough people that praise the podcast period to keep you up all those hours. So I don't believe you.
Well, you don't hear the screaming.
No, I don't. And I don't even want to see his face or hear his screaming ever again. People, if you're listening or you're watching, do not encourage this fool. We don't need to hear squealing, apparently.
I don't think it'll happen now because I've kept him kind of sustained. He likes to eat bright colored things. So
too?
He's pretty entertained with that. Just bright colored things. It doesn't really necessarily have to be food. So that's easy to shop for, right? As long as it's bright colors. But you got to watch things around your house that have bright colors, right? Like LED lights is an absolute no because there's lots of different bright colors that you get attracted to and like electrocute himself or whatnot. Like, it's a long story. But yeah. So bright colors.
You eat a bunch of bright color stuff. I saw you eating crayons one time. I had you edit it because
I don't eat colors. Brad eats colors. Brad's like a color guy. Like. If you could take him to a restaurant, he'd probably order something colorful, but I wouldn't be taking him to a restaurant.
He's like Bart. Remember the Treehouse of Horrors episode where they find out Bart has a twin named Hugo, and then they keep Hugo up in the cellar, and all they do is just throw him fish heads? Is that your situation with Brad?
It's similar, but he's not like wearing a mask. And Brad's story is original. It's not like a plagiarized thing. So,
well then that must be very unique to your household since so many things are plagiarized. I couldn't even finish the sentence without laughing. You know what really grinds my gears, Mike? And that's fucking cyclists. These people are the bane of my fucking existence. You want to talk about people that have their brains wired wrong, like a lot of people do in society. These people feel they have a right to the road. Cyclists have a right to the road. I'm sorry, can cyclists keep up with the flow and pace of traffic? Can cyclists go a minimum of 50 kilometers an hour in town ranges? Or where they love to go is the countryside roads where it's one lane on each side and 80 fucking kilometers. But no, you have to slow down for old fucking Karen and Darren there on their cyclists or on their bikes because they are entitled to the road too. Who told them they're entitled to the road too? Do you pay insurance? If your stupid little cycle hits into my car and dents my car, is your bike insurance going to pay for that dent? No. Do you have to pay for a license plate or do you have to pay for any sort of anything to be on the road like we do who own cars? No. So what fucking rights do you have? Why? Because there's pavement and you have wheels, therefore you have rights. So therefore skateboarders have rights to the road now. People on tricycles have rights to the road now. Where does it end? Like, give it a fucking rest. If I can't go the pace of traffic, then I have no business being on the road. Four-wheelers and all that stuff, bikes, like actual motorcycles or dirt bikes and whatnot, cool. But cyclists, no. And all they do is they pack together with like 7 or 8 of them, and they take up the whole fucking lane, and they won't let you pass them. They won't do anything to help you out. and then they'll blaze through red lights. They'll blaze through stop signs because all of a sudden the rules of the road do not apply to them anymore. They can do whatever. It happens in Toronto all the time. Cyclists get creamed all the time in Toronto. And then it's, well, you didn't stop for the stop sign, you idiot. You didn't stop for the red light. You think just because you're on a little fucking bicycle there that you can do whatever you want. So yes, grinds my gears beyond approach. I see it all the time, especially because I have to take back roads in order to get to the main highway to get to my work. And I'm constantly trying to get around these idiots. And there was a few years ago where I took a job to do some a catering job and helping out with that. I had no idea who the clients were or anything, and they were fucking cyclists. I had to cook burgers for all these fucking cyclists. There's like 5,000 of them. Like, if you could imagine taking cancer and putting it in one spot, that's what it looked like having all those cyclists, because they were fucking rude, they were arrogant, and there was like maybe 2 people that said thank you out of all the people I served that day, and I served a lot of people. So if you're a cyclist and you're listening to this, you don't have a right to the road. You don't belong on the road. Go to your little velodromes and bicycle and do all your stupid shit inside, or do it in a place that's safe. But fuck off and leave our roads alone. And if you think that you have a right to the road, then go get your bike insured. Go get plates for your bike. And if you fuck my car up, then we'll talk about your insurance at that point. But and follow the rules. If you want to be on the road and you think you're entitled to something, follow the fucking rules. Stop at stop signs. Stop at red lights. Just don't be a douchebag. I don't know what it is about you fucking cyclist people, but you're all fucking douchebags. There, I said it.
Yeah, so Brad's a cyclist. So
shocks me not.
Yeah, he said there's been a lot of new bike lanes here in Nanaimo, and he's really getting his feel into it. And there's one spot here, if anybody's here in Nanaimo, it's on Cliff Street, and they've decided to put a bike lane right in front of the actual bus stop. So if you're sitting for the bus, you get to sit there, cross a bike lane on a crosswalk to stand on a meridian to get on the bus. It's really convenient, and one of Brad's favorite things is to just ride his bike through there constantly and cut off pedestrians that are trying to get on the bus. Ever since they put this bike lane in on Cliff, it's so integrated with the drivers, and Brad feels he's such an important part of the drivers' day-to-day lives because he gets to slow them down, he gets to wave at them and have eye contact, which really helps him thrive in life. Eye contact is a big one for Brad. So one of his favorite things is to go down to Cliff ever since they've built this bike lane and go ride around and make more and more eye contact. So yeah, Brad's a big fan of the bike lanes, and when you talk about Ontario's bike lanes, I think he's going to want to go there and visit.
Well, he's not allowed here, first of all, and if I find Brad cycling up and down the streets here, I'll run him down. So, and I don't have to worry about insurance because he doesn't have any. So, and I'll make it sure that it's his fault.
It won't be his fault though, because he's a biker and he has rights.
Yes, they seem to think so, but yeah. Well, there's the Loki cameo of the episode. He's unsure where to put himself at this point. Oh, yep, by the door. That's his usual spot. World. But so pretty much that sums it up. Stu hates cyclists. Mike's not a big fan of people that are very ignorant towards cannabis. Neither am I. And that is a wrap on the what grinds our gears.
I had one cool cat in my life, and that was it. It didn't shit on my floor. It didn't piss on things. It was a nice cat.
That's your prerequisites for a nice cat, is it just didn't defecate on your fucking floor? That's it. That's your only requirements.
That and just, yeah, because like, fuck, man, like everyone's fucking cat just seems to like just do that all willy-nilly.
What sort of fucking cats are you hanging out with, bro? I know lots of cat owners, and they just don't go and piss and shit where they please. They do that in the litter box.
The cats of BC. Be afraid.
It's a whole other world out there, I swear to God. where
they have
cats piss and
regulations.
shit everywhere.
They have regulations here that they're gonna put down on cats being outside in Nanaimo. Some fucking bylaw, like they're gonna fine people for their cats being outside. What the cat's gonna tell them who the fucking owner is?
Yeah, like, hey bud, I live over there with Jim. 255. Go see him and give the fine. Like, are you gonna go around and scan the fucking animal to see if they're microchipped to see who they belong to? That's more money than what you're gonna get on the fines.
Yeah, Nanaimo's a whole story about just money just going all willy nilly. But it'll get me started on the bike lanes. We'll talk about that next week. I'll make a segment about it. It's just
You can bring your child into a store that has liquor. Like, for example, in Ontario, we have the Liquor Control Board of Ontario, LCBO. Those are the stores that you go into. You can bring your kid in there. It's all good, no worries. But you can't bring your kid into a pot shop. You want to know why? Because they can't see anything that goes inside of a pot shop because can make it enticing for them to consume one day.
okay. So here, sorry, you kind of triggered me with the kids and the alcohol thing.
No problem.
So here, it's not allowed, but it's kind of one of those like gray areas where certain places, you know, they see the parent with their kid and they just don't say anything and it kind of flies. Like, but as far as I can tell, it's not allowed. And I have kids. I haven't drank in a few years, but they will never walk in a liquor store if I have any control over that. And the reason being is, like you just said, the government has it with the pot stores because it's they don't want them to be attracted to it or whatnot. Well, when they're walking in a fucking liquor store, they've got all the different colored bottles. They've got this unique smell as soon as you walk in there. Their senses are just going. Fucking mommy or daddy's all fucking happy talking to the teller. They've got this fucking thing that's a positive. It says it's going to be a positive thing. Whatever they're buying, you know, they're going to party. They're going to fucking relax after dinner. Fucking whatever the fuck that goes in that kid's head. You know, I fucking can't stand it when a fucking parent brings their kid in the liquor store. I don't give a fuck who you are. You can't find a babysitter. You can't find some way for someone to watch that kid for a few minutes. Who the fuck's watching that kid when you're drinking? Like, fucking come at me in the comments, like, straight up. I don't give a fuck if you've had a hard week, a hard month, a hard year. You don't need to drag your kid in a fucking liquor store. Fuck that shit. Like, it's, you, like, people I know fucking growing up that have had problems with alcohol have told me so many times about how their parents just would bring them in and all this other shit. And they describe some of the things that I said about the colored bottles, the fucking smell. I used to go and my dad would fucking take me in there and I'd smell all types of shit. My dad was a whiskey alcoholic. And fucking... It was just, whoa, the liquor store. You're not allowed to come in here, be quiet, you know? And it's like, oh, wow, this, like, magical place I'm not allowed in without my parents. It's so unique. And then you have somewhere like the cannabis store where they're just not allowed in. Well, that's going to amp my curiosity even more because I was in the liquor store, wasn't allowed in. What the fuck's in that cannabis store that fucking, or the tobacco stores that they have all the frost on the glass? Like, kids aren't stupid. It's like don't do drugs. The kids are like, well, what's a drug? Those people are happy. I want to see how they're happy. You know, well, just don't do them. Mom's drinking the fucking booze and fucking, you know, getting all half cut. And those are the effects from drugs that you're telling your kids not to take. Literally fucking being belligerent or all fucked up, you know, high. You know, each drug's different high, but it's still a fucking high and your kid sees it.
Yeah, which is crazy to me because especially if you walked into a pot store, you walk into my pot store as an example, unless you're looking at the one display in the corner where we have some wholesale flower on display, you don't see anything. We don't even have posters. We have none of the sort of stuff that you would find maybe in other dispensaries and whatnot, but not a lot of dispensaries offer a lot of things that a kid could see and go, wow, and get fascinated by it. And you're right, you're just upping the curiosity level more by not allowing them to come in and frosting out the windows and making it to be such a shameful thing, like a porn store. It's what it feels like. Like porn stores, they're all have the same thing. They can't have any open advertisements. All their windows have to be frosted. You can't see inside. It's what? Are you kidding? And one of the biggest reasons why cannabis hasn't been legalized for so long is that it doesn't do anything for the population control. Alcohol and tobacco kills people. It's good for the government's business in a lot of ways. That's good.
I've seen a man fucking push out a small bento magnet out of his penis on a TV show.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'll
What?
talk about it on the next one. It's hilarious. It's a great show, but
No, you
I'll tell
need to
more about it.
rewind and talk about this now.
Okay. So, all right, we'll talk about the show. It's called Documental. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And
Oh, I see.
Japanese, yeah, it's a Japanese show where they get I think 8 or 10 contestants, and they all go in a room, and there's no rules whatsoever, and they're not allowed to laugh. They're not even allowed to kind of make a like little grin or anything, or they get there's like 3-strike rule, and then they're out. And the one that wins gets like 10 million yen, which is around $1 million here. And they have to put in money to go into this contest as well. So it's really cool. And near the end is where there's just like no rules at all. Like, you can't even make some of this shit up. Like, they go in this back room, and they'll get changed into their outfits that they've prepared for this. And like this one scene, the guy goes and he comes back out, and they don't censor a lot, but they censor enough so you're not like looking at a full like package. But he went and he took a tiny little magnet that looks like a bento box, and he stuck it in his foreskin, and he goes in front of a guy and he goes, "Hiya!" and pushes it out. And there's people that are just like, they're really trying hard not to laugh, and you can see it. They're like, and then
That's not funny. That's fucking mortifying.
You telling me you wouldn't laugh if some fucking, or make a grin at all if someone did that near you?
Well, okay, I'm not suggesting that I wouldn't, but it sounds more horrific than it does hilarious. That's for sure.
Okay, the next one up, guy goes in the back room. He dresses all up in a female outfit like he's a maid, and he starts coming around, and they're talking in Japanese, so it's all in subtitles. Like you got to be able to read. So like there's subtitles.
Well, that eliminates a lot of people.
Yeah. But he literally comes around, and he like, because he teams up with another person to eliminate someone else, and he's like, I give you massage, I Thai massage, and he's doing it, and then he starts like rubbing him on like his junk to get him aroused, and he's like, what the fuck, like, and there's no rules. So they go through all of this, and it's not all like crazy nudity, but their humor comes out. It's kind of like Britain humor, like there's every unique kind of style. Like Britain, everyone will dress up like a woman, like, it's funny, right? You know what I mean?
Britain humor. Do we have another fucking Arab situation going on here? Britain humor, British humor,
Britannia,
Britannia humor.
Britannia.
Oh God, no, we're not going to go down this road. But anyway, that show sounds. I understand now why you wanted to wait till later, because we're going to talk about some shows that we're watching later. But that had to be discussed. You can't leave a segue like that and keep me interested. I should have let it go, because maybe it will draw interest later on. But ADHD squirrel, And that's my biggest thing. I think one of the biggest takeaways from this is, to give some context, I've lived in North Bay, Ontario, Mattawa, Ontario. This is real northern Ontario. A lot of natives live in those communities. I've had a lot of native friends and whatnot. We've had a lot of discussions about native communities and how they're treated, or just Indigenous people in total and how they're treated. And I don't know about a lot of people, but these are issues that have been pissing me off for a really long time. Now, I'm just little old me. What can I possibly do? Like, I don't have, at times, I have a platform now, and that's why I talk about it now. It's not a huge platform, but it's still a platform no less. I never really had a platform before. I had an audience of however many friends I have on Facebook and stuff like that, and I just didn't know kind of how to tackle these issues. But what really pisses me off are these social media activists, is what I call them. And it really started up during Black Lives Matter last year. And what it seems to be is this alarming and dangerous trend of news stories becoming available, and people sharing these stories with this outrage based off of not even looking into the actual story itself, but based off of the caption on the post that's been posted by news media or whatever have you. They just read, however many bodies discovered in a mass grave. Yeah, that's a piss off. That is a big time piss off. That is, the fact that that even happened in this country is a travesty. Well, what some people are doing is that they're sharing this post, and then they start doing things like, I hate Canada, I hate being Canadian, the truth is coming out now, I'm not going to sing the anthem anymore, I'm disgusted to be Canadian. And it's just like, really, really, that's how you're handling this? This is what you're doing? I find that so counterproductive. I see an opportunity here for people's eyes to start finally opening up, because let's just go here to an article in 2016 on the CBC News. Unsolved, case closed or murder, the unsolved cases of Indigenous women and girls. So CBC News looked into 34 cases across Canada which involved death or disappearance of women, by which authorities said there was no foul play. In every case, families of the women say they do not accept the findings of the police, and they suggest murder may be involved. CBC found evidence in many of the cases that points to suspicious circumstances, unexplained bruise, and other factors that suggest further investigation warranted. We're talking about, they have a profile section of over 307 profiles of Indigenous women that have been either murdered or are missing. And no one seemed to give a shit about that then. There's 61 Indigenous communities in Canada right now that have long-term drinking water advisories, half of which remained unsolved for more than a decade. More than a fucking decade. So these things are not fucking new. They suspect that there is like over 4,000 missing and murdered women over the course of however many years. The RCMP acknowledged in 2014 that there was more than 1,200, but Indigenous women's groups are documenting that there's over 4,000. So it's nice that people are starting to wake up now, but it's the words they're using and how they're handling things that really pisses me off. It's like, you've been this ignorant to these issues for this long. You're ashamed to be a Canadian now because of what you've seen on social media. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. You have chosen, especially like, I'm in my 30s, and a lot of the people that I see, and by the way, if the shoe fits for you, then put it on. If this screams to you and you feel offended by this, put that damn shoe on. Because I see so many people my age that should know better and have chosen not to know better, and now they're going to denounce the country and this and that. I take great offense to being made to feel like I shouldn't be proud to be Canadian. Just because you've discovered something now. Now you're going to try and make everyone feel bad and guilty about being Canadian. Fuck that. I'm sorry. I know we have a history. I'm well aware we have a history. I'm well aware of how we treat Indigenous communities. I've been pissed off about it for a really long time, and that's why I wanted to make use of this platform to have these kind of conversations and to bring up these sort of points, because just what you see right now ain't it. There's so much more than that. But how we make change is not by self-loathing ourselves as Canadian and trying to make everyone feel bad about being Canadian. It's about coming together as communities. It's about making change now. It's about making things better now. You want to direct your anger towards someone, direct it towards your member of parliament. Direct it towards any government official that you know. Hell, direct it towards the Catholic Church for all the bullshit that they did with all this residential school stuff. Don't be mad at your own people. Don't turn on your own people. Don't just say, oh, fuck Canada, I hate Canada, blah, blah, blah. Because if that's your stance, then get the fuck out. Because you're not helping. You're not helping the matters whatsoever. You're just making things worse. And then for people to go online on Canada Day and start sharing things that suggests that if you don't share this, or if you don't talk about things on social media, then you're a part of the problem. I'm sorry, asshole. That's not it at all. You know what the best way of going about change and making changes? It's not always just by the share on Facebook. It's about doing things behind the scenes that you don't necessarily need to boast or talk about. Do you think everyone that donates money to causes and stuff like that goes online and goes, look at me, guys, I donated something, I'm making a difference, and because I posted this on Facebook, now I'm talking about it, now I'm making a difference? It doesn't help. It just really doesn't help to make people feel guilty about it. If you want to share stuff on your social media about awareness and stuff like that, you do that. That's awesome. It creates conversations, etc. But don't attack people for not doing it, because that's not fair. Not everybody feels comfortable posting those things. Not everybody feels comfortable using that as a platform to create conversation. Maybe they wish to do things in private. That's none of your fucking business. Maybe they don't need to wear an orange shirt or change their social media picture on Facebook with a little fucking filter of their selfie in that. And by the way, you look like a fucking asshole when you do that. If you post some selfie of yourself with some social justice cause as your little ticket underneath, you just look like an asshole. Straight up. It does nothing. My stance on tipping is a lot like Bink's. It's service dependent. It's dependent on how you present yourself, speed, quality of time, blah blah blah. It's different when you are a food delivery driver, and I've done pizza, I'm done now, skip the dishes, I don't care, I'll say it, fuck it, who cares. When you're working for Skip the Dishes as a driver, you're not banking on the tips, but you don't get paid very well. And as you said, there is a lot of fees that come with that food delivery service for the customer, and they don't share too much of the profit. We're really almost in a way needing our customers to tip us, because if you don't tip us, especially, to give you an example, I was given a job that was 19 kilometers away. I'm sorry, Bink, I don't know how many miles that would be, maybe like 11.
Yeah. What's Skip the do, by the way?
Pardon me?
What is Skip the Dishes? Is it like DoorDash?
Like DoorDash or Uber Eats, yes, yeah. So, and I had a job that was about 19 clicks away, and it was out in the fucking boonies, and they actually started delivering outside of zones. They didn't tell any of the drivers this, but they're now accepting 15 kilometers outside of zones that they don't compensate you for. Again, I know this is a driver issue and you should know this if you're signed, but they didn't even tell us that. So I accepted this order, because if you don't accept a certain amount of orders, they punish you. And they put you lower on the queue. They don't match you up with jobs as often, and sometimes they can decrease your pay, because they do what's called a top up. So if someone like, Mike doesn't tip, then usually we would need a top up to make it a minimum of $6. But if you decline so many orders, they put you out of the queue, and they also will not tip up your stuff. So it could be like maybe a $3 order instead of a $6 order. So anyway, I'm going 19 clicks out to this person's house, because I'm in the situation where I can't afford to really decline too much. I got to take what I can take. And it was only $7. And I come to realize afterwards, I'm like, I just drove 19 kilometers for you out of town. You should be ever so fucking grateful that a food service has now chosen to deliver to your area, you hillbilly fuck that lives out in the boons. You toothless fuck can't even tip me. Like, what the fuck? Like, this bitch didn't even tip me, boys. Like, that's so disrespectful at that point.
Well, yeah.
Like, the fuck you talking about? And I mean, it's like, I always come with good customer service. I drive quick as a motherfucker, because I'm trying to deliver that shit and get right to the next job. So trust me, people get speed and accuracy, and I'm a customer service man. I've worked in customer service pretty much my whole life. So you get proper customer service every time. But I saw after this bitch didn't tip, and it infuriated me. So, but with Mike's situation, you want to be Japanese just so you don't have to tip. I know it in my heart. That shit is
good too.
it's the funniest thing to me, but I mean, like you said, to each his own. I'll bust your balls for whatever. My stance is, though, on anyone that says I'm down to my last dollar and I'm using services and food services like Skip the Dishes, maybe you should cook at home.
Yeah, get you some noodles. They're $1. That way you feel me?
I'll reply to that, and maybe you should get a more fuel efficient vehicle.
Well, it's nothing wrong with my vehicle. My vehicle's very fuel efficient. I actually barely use gas on it. That has nothing to do with the situation. It was the piss off was the time that it took to go out there and back.
That's where you put on some Billy Joel and you just lay back, chill, and hit that road, that country road with all that scenery. That's your tip. You get to see all the scenery. You get to see the farmland, beautiful area you would have never explored before. And this person gives you this opportunity, and all you take from that is you didn't tip me. Like who's the jerk here? Really, when you think about it.
Well, it's clearly me now, because if you put it that way, I'm sold. Oh my God, how could I have not thought that way? Wow.
Man, he said that's your tip, the scenery. That's funny.
That is funny. You fuck. Yeah.
Make you move out the way. I would move out the way just for that. Your tip is seeing all this beautiful shit.
I haven't grown up here my whole entire life and seen all this beautiful shit for all my life, but hey, that's his perspective is everything. This is Mike's wisdom. This is what this segment should be called, is Mike's wisdom, where he'll just take something and manipulate it in a way to make it sound like it's a good thing. You would have made a great lawyer. A great lawyer. As a driver for a company, a food delivery company in Canada, I go to several restaurants, and I find it asinine that customers are really iffy about me coming to their door. But if they had any idea on the people not wearing masks, working around each other, like I'm telling you right now, 90% of the kitchens, no one wears masks. And I know people in kitchens are going to crucify this if they see this or hear this one day, but it's fucking facts. I see it all the time with my own eyes. These people are not wearing masks, and if you think your food is like safe coming to you, no, these people were breathing all fucking over your shit.
Yeah.
So I find it fucking asinine, but yet, you know, don't let the delivery driver come anywhere near me, but bring me my food and leave it on my doorstep. You touch the bag. But
see, I like that though. I like to leave it on the doorstep.
I love it too.
I for one enjoy it. Yeah, I love it. I do get the odd encounter where someone like doesn't do that, and I think it's really fucking strange. Like, but yeah, that's the one thing I guess I seen it online too. Someone said is one of the positives of COVID, like the delivery drivers don't have to deal with the people and vice versa. Like so that's nice.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I wish we had this all aligned. I hope it never changes, because all I have to do is come to your door. Half the time you tell me not to even ring the doorbell. I just drop your food and I turn around and walk the fuck back to the car.
Yeah.
Right? So I love it. I find the hypocrisy of it very fascinating, and we'll get into a conversation about 2020 another time, but just wrapping it up here, if in the event that people don't know where to find you, where do they find you online?
Right now I'd say on Facebook you just look up Cutlet House Plays, all one word, and then I come up. You can Google as well, and then all the stuff comes up. My Instagram is just Cutlet House, because that was what originally started as, was Cutlet House, and I was gonna have a branch off Cutlet House Plays as being like the kind of one that I mess around with, play with, so to say. And then that's the one that kind of blew up, so I'm trying to stick with that. Also too, trying to work with a few different artists and collabs through memes, some people that are doing music as well. So there's that to look forward to in the future.
Cool. Well, yeah, there's a lot of more conversations to come. I mean, you are the editor and the unfortunate occasional guest host from time to time on this said program. So I'm sure people are going to know exactly who you are by the time they do see or hear this. But in the event you don't, you're a pretty talented dude, and you got your finger on the pulse and shit. And I think you're going to be laughing at some point with a lot of followers, and I hope that's your contribution, so the show will bring it to a similar place. So we're just going to leave it at that, and thanks for taking the time out to speak with me. I'm gonna end the recording now.